Good morning. At about 27 minutes onto 7 a.m. Standard East African Time, you are watching UBC TV, the national broadcaster, on air and online. Now, experts chew in on the appointment of Gilma Waki as the acting Uganda Airlines CEO, as well as consultant and advisor of the carrier. The LOP, Honorable Senyonyi, suggests that the right procedures to appoint Waki were not followed. And outgoing Kira Municipality MP Honorable Semujunganda shared the same sentiments. Now, retired aviation expert Captain Francis Babu, on the other hand, welcomed Gilma Waki's appointment, especially as a consultant, but suggested that government should sack the entire team currently managing the Uganda Airlines to go along with Jennifer Bamturachi so that Gilma Waki starts off with a fresh new team to serve the carrier. Good morning, Uganda. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. I am with the A-team, Robert Chirabo Nyonyitano and Joan Muronji. Good morning, Joan.
Good morning, Julie, and a very good morning to you, our viewers. It is a Wednesday officially, and happy Ramadan and happy Lenten season. Of course, Christians around the globe and Muslims have started their Lenten period and Ramadan respectively. And when you look at this year's fasting period for both religions, Ramadan coincides with the Christian Lenten season today, because it's so rare that it only happens in over 32 years that these begin in the same period. Now Christians are marking Ash Wednesday, which ushers in a 40-day Lenten season leading to Easter, the period that commemorates the death of Jesus Christ, and then at the end Jesus Christ rises. So it is going to be a sacred season for both religions, for Christians and Muslims rather. So we are wishing you a happy Ramadan and a happy Lenten season. Today, Christians go for Ash Wednesday at the churches, especially for the Catholics. I don't know about the born again. Do you also apply Ash, Julie? No. On your foreheads? Oh, I mostly know about the Catholics. Of course, you should go there. There were masses in the morning and in the evening, so do not have an excuse. But away from that, the Education Ministry clarified that the Senior 5 selection exercise will kick off today in Kampala, and it will follow the same procedure used during the 2025 intake when the pioneer cohort under the competency-based curriculum transitioned to advanced level. Now, this was said by the ministry's spokesperson, Dr. Dennis Mugemba. Good morning.
Indeed, thank you very much, John. Now, I love the fact that all of us, for some reason, in some form or shape, are wearing a touch of blue.
Oh,
even Robert himself. Robert, good morning.
Yeah. Lovely morning to you, Julie. I love your smile.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Very jolly, very happy. I love your smile.
Right,
and of course, I learned that smiling is a key to so many things.
Right.
Scientifically, if you smile, there is a way it works on your face. People who are usually happy and smiling don't age very fast. They don't develop the wrinkles.
But they get smiling lines.
I highly doubt. So it's always good. You've woken up, have a smile on your face. I'm not good at smiling, but at least start your day with a smile and have a positive mind. Now, there is something that really shocked me that happened on Valentine's Day.
That sounds like a not so positive story that you're going to share.
It happened in Matuga, in Mabanda, to be more specific, Nansana municipality, where a father of a 17-year-old daughter bounced and killed an 18-year-old schoolmate.
What?
A boy who had taken a Valentine's flower to a girl. They all go to the same school, that is Hillside Senior Secondary School, Matuga. Now, Martin Bukenya, 18 years old, on Valentine's, felt it that he wanted to express love to the girlfriend and got a flower, went to the home of the girl. Now, the father found Martin in his premises, his residence, and he got to find out that this boy actually was the boy who did what many of us did while in school. You know, that those sweet for nothing relationships. I can trust Joe and couldn't miss out on that. The sweet for nothing relationships.
Robert.
I don't know much about Julie.
But for my case, you're sure.
I'm very sure.
Thank you, sir.
Now, and the many of you watching us, you had these sweet for nothing relationships. They didn't even really mean so
Amount
much.
to something. Yes.
Yeah, so the father got so upset, bounced on the young man, started beating him, locked him inside the house until his death. Now, after the death, he packed his family and they vanished. I've not yet got any information if he has been arrested, but at least by the time I got this information, they were still hunting for him for having committed this offense.
But from that story, Robert, it's claimed that the man kept on, the suspect kept on cautioning the boy from way back, leave my child alone. Please do not interfere with her studies and everything. But I think, you know, the adolescent stage, the boy could not heed to the advice.
But also I'm told this father married the mother of the girl while she was 13 years.
Maybe she did not want a repeat of history. And I think it goes back down to the family, to both families.
For me, I think issues of anger management.
Anger management,
This is
definitely
a very
so.
big lesson to many of us. Remember Kanyamuni, you served a sentence.
5 years.
Someone scratches your car, anger management, you have a gun, you pull out. And so many have had challenges. We need to learn to manage our anger. However upset you are, because if you do not, even the Bible in Proverbs talks about this. I think it's Proverbs 27 something, chapter 27 of verse 8. I'm about to check there. Talks about being able to manage your anger.
That's absolutely true.
If you fail to manage your anger, because what justification do you have to take a life?
There is
None
no
at all.
justification, but let's also look at this, the courage, the boldness, the audacity this boy has to go inside.
I mean, that's the
someone's-
age. It's right. That's the
but did you
age.
go to your girlfriend by then's house, inside the house, moreover on such a day, Valentine's,
Have you
to
ever
express
survived
how
being
much you
lynched?
loved?
That's the age. Many times you.
Really?
I remember.
That age
I
doesn't
remember
think
one
twice.
time.
Really?
That age doesn't think twice.
I remember one time I went to visit someone, and she directed me to her home. And then in that vicinity, there was a robbery at night. So I go meandering. Then someone meets me and asks, "Young man, where are you going?" I couldn't remember very well where I was because I couldn't tell them I'm going here.
Wow, indeed, you could have landed
I was
in trouble.
saved by this boy. No. This is like a young boy. Let him go.
Interesting, very interesting at that. But indeed, as Robert has shared, anger management is key. And for every parent, you handle issues differently because at the end of the day, you are also once an adolescent. You also you were also once crazy in some pettiness, in some form or shape. So you'd rather handle it the best way possible as
I
a
love
parent.
the word you've used. You were once there, and you know how you couldn't control and manage certain things. It was by the grace of God. Then you kill someone's son.
They would have cancelled the boy and the girl.
I know. Meanwhile, in other news, as we indeed look forward to hearing from Robert on the local scene, I'm told that during Ramadan period, it's the best season to do business.
Why?
Because at least you're rest assured, especially for the business community is largely dominated by the Muslim community.
In
That is
Uganda.
true.
Yes, in Uganda. And it's said that during Ramadan period, it's hard to find someone acting funny or trying to cheat because at the end of the day, it's Ramadan, it's a holy month. So holiness is expected in every detail.
Julia Kakagato.
We shall confirm that in the business segment.
I'm told so. I don't know how true it is, but many people in the business sphere say that during
But some of
Ramadan,
It's
them
very
cry
true.
for that,
Ramadan is the best
money
season
is
to
scarce
do.
Of course, money is
it's
scarce.
during Ramadan.
During Ramadan, that is
Yes.
very true. But also, Judy said it right. No one wants to
miss Jannah.
to not to get the rewards of
Yeah,
Ramadan.
the rewards of Ramadan.
Most of the things that they're interested in are the rewards that you get when you fast and during this holy month.
Anyways, wishing all the Muslims a happy Ramadan. Robert, what do we have on the local scene?
Let me begin with the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, the Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, who highlighted the country's tax incentives to attract foreign investment and promote development in Uganda. She was meeting with a delegation from the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates and India, who were in Uganda for a tripartite Trade, Investment and Tourism Tour. Meanwhile, the head of State House Investment Protection Unit, Colonel Edith Nakalema, reaffirmed government commitment to ensuring a conducive environment for foreign investors. The meeting, chaired by the Prime Minister, Robert Nabanja, was co-chaired by the head of State House Investment Protection Unit, Colonel Edith Nakalema. It comprised of ambassadors from the United Kingdom, United Arab Emirates, the India, and former MPs, and also former MPs from the United Kingdom Parliament, Uganda's cabinet ministers, and other government officials. The engagement reflects Uganda's broader strategy to position itself as a competitive investment destination in the region. Uganda's High Commissioner to London said they are potential partners for the Uganda's development progress. The tripartite trade, investment and tourism tour reflects a growing partnership that underscores the continued development of Uganda's economy. The British High Commissioner to Uganda, Her Excellency Lisa Chen, pledged United Kingdom's support to Uganda. The visiting delegates were urged to explore the investment in Uganda in the very many sectors for the country's development. Members of Parliament have expressed mixed reactions to the directive by President Museveni to appoint a consultant to rectify issues at Uganda Airlines. In his letter dated 13th February this very year, the President directed Ministry of Works and Transport to allow Ethiopian Grima serve as the acting CEO, replacing Jennifer Bamuturaki. This comes after several reports of mismanagement of the national carrier. The letter the President wrote was a decision that followed several reports of mismanagement of the national carrier. President Museveni further asked that Jennifer Bamuturaki, the current CEO, steps aside, citing management weaknesses. It is not yet disclosed as to the particulars of the management weaknesses as cited by the President. However, the recent Auditor General's report for the year ending 2025 cited that the airline recorded a net loss of $230.816 billion for the financial year 2024-2025. The Auditor General states that the aviation fuel was uplifted and payments amounting to $17,388 US were made without valid fuel supply contract. Such issues remain vivid to the legislators. In 2002, the Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, COSASE, led by then Chairperson Joe Senyonyi, delved into some of the matters arising from the mismanagement of the airline. UBC reached out on phone to Joe Senyonyi. The MPs agreed with the need to enhance operations of the national carrier. The President's guidance puts a deadline on the transition period to July 2026 as to when the new CEO could be appointed. Japan government has donated over 2 billion Ugandan shillings to the Ministry of Health and the Uganda Police Fire Prevention and Rescue Services. The Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Atwine, said in the grant, the Ministry of Health will receive 9 second-hand ambulances and 8 second-hand fire trucks to support local communities in 3 cities and 8 districts in the country. This was witnessed at the Embassy of Japan during the signing of a grant contract between the Ambassador of Japan to Uganda and the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Health. The Ambassador of Japan, Takuya Shashayama, said the demand for emergency medical transport system and fire response services continue to grow in Uganda, hence the need to address such dangers. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Atwine, commended Japan for always moving an extra mile in supporting the government of Uganda to enhance service delivery. She further cited the need for supporting in building human resource capacities when it comes to emergency medical services. The Commissioner Fire Disaster Preparedness Hassan Kihanda represented the Director Fire Prevention and Rescue Services. The over 2 billion Uganda shilling grant for strengthening the emergency and disaster prevention system in Uganda is under the grant assistance for grassroots recycle projects by the government of Japan. Finally, from the local scene, the Inspectorate of Government has unveiled its strategic plan for the financial year 2025-2026, 2029-2030, alongside the Client Charter and the Human Resource Policy and Procedures Manual for 2026. The landmark event attracted senior government officials, development partners, and civil society leaders. Details are in a report. The strategic plan set a roadmap towards a corrupt-free Uganda, aligning with Vision 2040, the 4th National Development Plan, and the 10-fold growth strategy. The plan shifts the inspectorate from reactive, compliant-based investigations to intelligence-led and risk-based approaches, leveraging digital systems and artificial intelligence to strengthen enforcement and improve case management. The Client Charter commits the institution to a clear standard of timeline, professionalism, and accountability in service delivery. Meanwhile, the Human Resource Manual aims to institutionalize integrity, fairness, and performance-driven management within the organization. The Deputy Head of Public Service, Jane Mwesigwa, emphasized that success will not be measured by the documents launched, but by the tangible outcomes in the fight against corruption. Now that brings us to the end of our local stories this morning. Let's see what Joan Murungi has for us.
Swiftly moving on to our international coverage, over 80 member states and organizations at the United Nations on Tuesday rejected Israel's unilateral decision to start land registration in parts of the occupied West Bank, which would allow large areas to be declared state land. We strongly condemn unilateral Israeli decisions and measures aimed at expanding Israel's unlawful presence in the West Bank. Permanent Observer Mission of the State of Palestine at the UN, Riyad H. Mansour, said while reading the joint statement in New York. Such decisions are contrary to Israel's obligations under international law and must be immediately reversed. He added. Mansour said that Israel's move threatened ongoing efforts toward peace and stability in the Middle East and the prospects of reaching a peace agreement to end the conflict. The group reiterated its support for a two-state solution, where two democratic states, an independent and sovereign Palestine and Israel, live side by side in peace and security within their secure and recognized borders on the basis of the 1967 lines, including with regard to Jerusalem, Mansour noted. We reiterate the just and lasting peace on the basis of the relevant United Nations resolutions, the statement read. Moving on a sad note, a U.S. civil rights leader passes away. Reverend Jesse Jackson, the renowned U.S. civil rights leader, passed away on Tuesday at the age of 84. As you can see on your screen, footage shows him from a number of protests in recent years. His family released a statement saying he had died peacefully on Tuesday morning, surrounded by his family. His unwavering commitment to justice, equality, and human rights helped shape a global movement for freedom and dignity. A tireless change agent, he elevated the voices of the voiceless from his presidential campaigns in the 1980s to mobilizing millions to register to vote, leaving an indelible mark on history. Jackson ran for president twice, in 1984 and 1988, and marched with Martin Luther King Jr. in the 1960s. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2017 and was admitted to hospital in November for a degenerative condition. His cause of death was not revealed at the time of publication. Coming back to the continent of Africa, more specifically the giant of Africa due to its population, and that is Nigeria. About 100 US soldiers arrived in Nigeria to train the West African nation's armed forces and help them with intelligence in their battle against growing security threats from Islamist militants and other armed groups. The troops and equipment had landed at an airfield in the northeastern state of Bauchi. Nigeria Defense spokesperson Major General Samaila Uba said he reiterated that the U.S. personnel would not be engaging in combat operations and had come at the request of the government. This is the latest sign of military cooperation between the two countries following the Christmas Day airstrikes launched by the U.S. on two camps run by an Islamist militant group in northwestern Nigeria. The government said it had asked for help in tackling Islamist militant groups such as Boko Haram, Islamic State in West Africa province, as well as other groups. Nigeria faces an array of security challenges, including an Islamist insurgency, attacks by criminal gangs known locally as bandits, who loot and kidnap for ransom, clashes over land, and separatist unrest. And that brings us to the end of our international coverage here.
All right, thank you very much, Joan. Quickly looking at what we have in the dailies, we're starting off with the New Vision, and the headline there is why USA wants Uganda's health data. Interesting new program sparks controversy, experts speak out. Also a picture of President Museveni meeting with Cardinal Wamala, but also disability is not inability. Chakuwaire shines in UCE. Also a copy of the Total magazine for yourself. Harvest Money Export Tunga to offer feeds knowledge, and church orders 500 to vacate Kampala estate. Interesting. Now looking at more of the dailies, we do have The Citizen in Tanzania, and the headline there is Spotlight on key reforms to secure 2026 growth rate. Also Zanzibar plans record 8.217 trillion budget for 2026-2027. Modern hospitals surge, traditional remedies persist. And beyond finance, what else is killing the East African community? In the Daily Nation in Kenya, the headline there is Push for Ruto Uhuru Troops. That's the headline in the Daily Nation, but also other stories. State House Sakaja signed deal to run Nairobi City, and ex-soldiers among 33 new Kenyan recruits for Russia war, and counting heavy losses after airport workers strike. All of that in the dailies. Get yourself a copy and get to enjoy the detail in there. It's 5 on to 7 a.m. Good morning. Good Morning Uganda is proudly brought to you by the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Ladies and gentlemen, on our today's
African Time. You are watching UBC TV, the national broadcaster, on air and online. Now, experts zoom in on the appointment of Gilma Wati as the acting Uganda Airlines CEO, as well as consultant and advisor. The LOP Economic Minister suggests that the right decision to appoint Wati was done fully. And outgoing Kira Municipality MP Honorable Uganda said the same sentiment. Now, retired aviation expert Captain Francis Kaburu, on the other hand, welcomed Gilma Wati as a consultant, but suggested the government should sack the entire team currently managing the Uganda Airlines, or along with the Gilma from that Gilma Wati stuck up with a fresh warning Uganda. The period
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation, when people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned or what we have stopped is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
The Uganda Professional Drivers Network established the Truckers Wellness Center at Natete to provide healthy services to long-distance truck drivers, a group considered highly vulnerable to HIV/AIDS.
We have been able to, as ourselves, put in resources to even meet the standards of government, to register a formal clinic. We are working with the government of Uganda through Chitebi Health Center 3, Kawala Health Center 4, and all this to ensure that the clients that come out of our facility, the ones we can treat, we treat. The ones we cannot treat, we have a motorcycle to deliver them to the hospital.
The proprietors of the Wellness Center explain that Natete was strategically chosen due to its location along major transport routes and its high concentration of mobile populations.
We saw that there was a demand, and the statistics that we had, that whenever there is a truck driver, there are female sex workers, and the customers are the truck drivers. So, through HIV programs, extending health services to the truck drivers, we saw that there was a gap, that also we had to engage the female sex workers also on board.
Natete is a high-risk area with significant presence of sex workers and trucker stops.
We are trying to design this model, for example, that we're having a lab technician on ground, we have the clinician, and the secret behind that, if someone is tested and turns positive, this very person is being given a confirmatory test from here, other than referring him to the facility because of the time. And after confirming that this person has turned into is a positive client, is enrolled on ART.
The Drivers Network is seeking partners to expand affordable health services, given the high cost of medical care.
There are gaps, and we are calling for those of you watching us out there and seeing us, that we need you to support us, because to serve a community where you're having over 100 people enrolled on PrEP, over 10 new HIV positive cases. We have worked in those places. You have seen in areas like Mabito and in those truck parks, the number of people, the hotspots, the drug use, the demand is much. So
the Uganda AIDS Commission has plans to integrate such community-based models into national HIV/AIDS policy frameworks.
Looking forward to working with them to have this model replicated in almost all the stops within the country, in all the towns, because there are so many high-risk people who live around these truckers and where they stop.
The wellness facility has opened up its services to the wider community and is appealing to the stakeholders to support service expansion.
We call upon support for areas of medication, for example, because now when we test somebody urinalysis for free and they have STI, and STI is one of the biggest problems in these places. The medicine we have, we are telling them to pay. No, that one we cannot subsidize medicine. Is it possible that somebody can say, okay, for me I'm only supporting the STI medication. For me I'm supporting furniture for that place. For me I'm supporting computers. For me I'm supporting health workers who can work in the night. This is the kind of support we are asking, and not necessarily really money.
The Uganda Professional Drivers Network also guided development partners on a tour of the Natete locality to highlight the scale of the challenge and identify areas for intervention. Abdul Nasili Luwama and Regan Ahumza for UBC.
Good morning, Uganda. That story right there is one of the Uganda AIDS Commission partnering with the Natete Truckers Wellness Center in the fight against HIV. Can Uganda achieve the end of HIV or AIDS as a public health threat by 2030? 0709602592 by WhatsApp, text, and be part of the conversation. Now, the World Health Organization and UNAIDS set the goal to end AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. And this initiative aims for 95% of people living with HIV to know their status, 95% of those to be on treatment, and 95% of those to have a suppressed viral load. Now, reduced incidences or deaths as well in there by 90%. And Uganda's achievements that have so far been registered as we are 5 years, just 5 years, or maybe actually 4 years into 2030, 61% drop in new infections has so far been registered by Uganda as reported in 2024. That is from about 96,000 to 37,000. And 94% of Ugandans living with HIV know their status. And of those, 90% are on treatment. Now, with that initiative by the Uganda AIDS Commission, partnering with the Trackers Wellness Center in Natete, still to make sure that every bolt in the fight against HIV is tightened. Can Uganda hit the target by 2030 to end HIV and AIDS as a public health threat? Chewing on this conversation is you, our dear viewer, but Joanne and Robert are joining, definitely as always, joining us to share their 2 cents as we chew in on this conversation. And I'll start with Joanne. Can Uganda hit the target of preventing HIV and of ending HIV and AIDS as a public health threat by the year 2030, which is just 4 years away?
While Uganda has made significant achievements in trying to achieve this goal, there are still challenges that are within their to reduce infections, new infections, and to manage the disease. That is, if they are to end it as a public threat by 2030. And starting off with the mindset.
Okay.
Most of the Ugandans do have, their mindset is not aligned with stopping or preventing new infections. They do not care. Last time I used the statement, people normally say, so their mindset is not aligned with the goals of ending new HIV infections in a way that they do know it is to whom it may concern. It is after I spoke to a doctor sometime and he told me, you find most people, Ugandans, go to hospitals after having sexual intercourse. They test after having the act, yet it's supposed to be test before having the act. So if they do not change their mindset, even when government puts in a lot of efforts, comes up with so many policies and strategies to end HIV new infections by 2030, it may not be achievable. And we also have persistent funding gaps. Julie, although there is roughly, funding has increased, we must appreciate, to over 14% domestically. But then we have a shortfall because Uganda needs over $836 million annually to fund the HIV/AIDS response. And we are a shortfall on that. We do not have enough funding. Government is trying, NGOs are trying, some international bodies are trying to help us, but the limited funding is not going to help us achieve that target. Since we do have mobilization efforts, sensitization, awareness campaigns, also putting people on treatment and encouraging them what to do before, for example, the mothers, once you know you are pregnant, the moment you get to know that you're pregnant, you need to go to a health facility. But some of them wait until they're in their third trimester. That is when they decide to go for these checkups. So also have the stigma and behavioral change. The stigma around the people who have contracted the virus is still high, and most of these people do not adhere to the instructions or guidelines of medical practitioners, and they are deeply rooted into their cultures when it comes to behavior and societal beliefs. Some cultures do not believe in using protection. Others, they say religions go against it. Other cultures believe you can know, why would you test? God covers you with the blood. We've seen some of these new religions that do not, they campaign efforts of going for testing or being on the RTs, that is antiretroviral therapies. These are medicines, combined medicines that suppress and the virus and stop disease progression and prevents transmission. So you find that some of these new religions, they campaign these efforts, and people end up, the followers end up not abiding by what the Ministry of Health officials are advocating for in order to stop new infections or transmissions. And the other thing I can talk about is urbanization and high-risk behaviors. With statistics, as you've said, Julie, new risks are mainly based on urban centers, because that is where mostly the night economy is booming. Like you said, we saw the truck drivers, and this includes some areas that are high risk. For example, the slums. We do have places with sexual workers, that is the prostitutes, and people who really use drug abuse, those who abuse drugs, and also those with multiple sexual partners. Once we do not have the urbanization and the high-risk behaviors in these places tackled, Uganda might really find it a problem to have this end. And we can also talk about the stagnant reduction in new infections. There is a plateau whereby Uganda has achieved a certain percentage of no new infections, and we are at that. It has improved, but it is stable. It is not going up. So that plateau period, that plateau statistic that is making us lag at that stagnant statistic is really pulling us down in order to achieve that, because over 100 new infections every day, that has been the figure from way back until now. So we cannot really end HIV by 2030, as it is said. And the high coincidence among young women and girls, the significant challenge is that a rising number of new infections between the girls are aged 15 to 24. And in 2023, we saw a substantial rise in this, whereby men, the rates of men have declined. You know, when it comes even to teenage pregnancies, a lot of factors contribute to this, whereby girls are even more at risk to contract HIV, which undermines the efforts to reduce by 20 or to end it by 2030. And also the men out there who do not want to involve themselves in these efforts. Julie, you will find so many men, when you find their wives pregnant, have you gone for HIV test? They're like, no. When my wife goes for antenatal care, they will tell me by her results whether I'm safe or not. And you find that most of these people are, I'm looking, is it misconduct? Not misconduct. Disconduct part, is it? Disconduct part, yeah, thank you so much. And that the man might be sick, but the woman is not sick. And the woman might be sick, but the man is not sick. So men do not involve themselves in this. And you find that unknowingly, they spread the virus, which suppresses the efforts of ending it in 2030.
Thank you very much, John. And indeed, she paints a picture of why it's difficult, indeed, to achieve the goal by 2030 of ending HIV and AIDS as a public health threat. Let me just read one comment, and Robert will just give us his 2 cents. Good morning to you. This is Fina from Bushenyi. I honestly think many people would have been saved if the Ministry of Health introduced the use of PEP. Many people don't know PEP, guys.
The PEP and PrEP is there, but the
knowledge
access,
of it.
Some know, but access. It's limited access to PEP and PrEP, and even some do not know the use of both. You find some using PEP instead of PrEP and PrEP instead of PEP. You know, those are two different terms.
Right. Robert, can Uganda hit the target of ending HIV and AIDS by 2030 as a public health threat?
Well, I must say Uganda can. We've come a long way when it comes to the fight against HIV/AIDS. For example, if we remember people in 1986, there come to the early 2000s, what AIDS was and what it is today. You look at, for example, current statistics and progress, why I say there is a green light at the end of the tunnel. We've reduced preference of national HIV prevalence has dropped significantly from 18%. Now we are at, that was 18% in the 1990s, to approximately 4.9 as of 2025.
Right.
Now that tremendous shift from 18% to 4.9% is some good news. It's a step in the right direction. Let's look at lower mortality, where AIDS-related death fell by 65% between 2010 and 2022. That even people dying of HIV/AIDS tremendously dropping from 65. And we now look at the target. This is, you know, ending HIV/AIDS as a public threat by 2030. There is a formula. And the formula is the 95, 95, 95. Countries believe globally that if we use this method, we can end HIV/AIDS by 2030 as a public health threat. Now, it is have 95% of your population test for HIV/AIDS. Now, the challenge we have is Uganda is striving for this. But at least we know that people living, because the difference is here. Sometimes people are misled by these two statistics. That almost 94% of people living with HIV/AIDS know their status in Uganda, which is good. That if you have HIV/AIDS, you know your status, because that is part. But when we look at the population of Uganda and how many of the population know their status, that is where we lose the success. Many Ugandans, even us three here, if you asked us, when did you last test for HIV/AIDS? Some will tell you, I'm happily married with my wife, I'm happily married with my husband, there's no need to test for HIV/AIDS. One will say, even if you brought a grader, you wouldn't take me for testing. I know you would have one who would tell you, Robert, don't talk about testing. You cannot take me to a hospital for an HIV test. One, I'm sure, would say that. Now,
some test and leave the results.
Some even test and
leave the results and they run away.
Yet, it is the first and the entry to achieving this.
Right.
Is knowing your status.
Your status, yes.
Sir, Madam watching us, are you sure you know your HIV status? When did you last test? Because at least every 3 months, you should carry out a test. Because of that incubation period. But when did you last test? So if only Ugandans could go and test and we know their status and they know their status. If you're positive, continue. Start on medication, because that is the strategy. That if you test positive, if 95% of your entire population did test, and those found positive, 95% of them went on medication or started medication. And after starting a medication, 95% of those that started medication take it properly. What happens when someone consistently and properly takes their HIV medication? They suppress the viral load.
It can be detectable.
The HIV in Joanne, you know, the viral load she has in her body is suppressed. That one, she can't transmit. And that is where some pastors lie. I'm a born-again Christian, accept Christ as my Lord and Savior. But you know, when someone takes their medicine, their medication properly, and the viral load is suppressed, and they just carry out a mere HIV test, sometimes they may not detect the virus. Now, when they take those results to the pastor, and they have been praying about healing, he says, you are healed.
I've cured you from HIV.
The prayers, God has used me, you're delivered. Yet if you go and do other tests, the extra tests that you do, that will show you that yes, you still have the virus, but your viral load was suppressed. Now, when your viral load is suppressed...
Confirmatory tests.
Yes, confirmatory tests. That will mean if those having HIV/AIDS, they're sticking to their medication and they're not passing it on. But two, why I'm very optimistic and very positive that we shall get there. There are new methods that have come in. For example, Judy, is it lenacapavir injection?
Yeah.
Just imagine if many Ugandans, if we can have this in huge numbers, moreover Ugandans are excited, asking Bana yeriru daba jitukube. You know, if people can get this injection, it's twice a year. So a person cannot contract HIV/AIDS. That will mean we shall end that lenacapavir if it can be in circulation. Two.
And affordable.
And affordable.
Yes.
Now, when we look at the success we are making in mother-to-child transmission, you know, that if all children who would have been born with HIV/AIDS are now not getting HIV/AIDS, then, believe you me, you're not having new infections. Then what that?
But Robert, still, the mother might have efforts to prevent mother-to-child transmission, but later on, this child exposes themselves recklessly, and they instead contract the.
Now that is
HIV.
where we are saying that if the person who has HIV/AIDS, for example, Joanne, if you're positive and you suppressed your viral load,
yes,
if someone sleeps with you, they will not contract that.
True.
Or if we've done enough sensitization.
That is if I continue taking my medicine diligently.
That's why we say you can't suppress the viral load if you're not consistent.
Yes.
Now, if we've done sensitization and the person sleeping with you is using protection, synthetic rubber, is using protection, or got or was injected a preventive lenacapavir, which is not what do we call
cure.
It's a prevention. It's not a vaccine. Lenacapavir is not a vaccine.
Right.
It's just a preventive
measure.
So if someone took lenacapavir, then adds on protection, that will mean you are not going to have transmission of HIV/AIDS. So I believe...
That is why I'm saying, Robert, yes, the efforts are there, but we cannot refrain from saying the new infections will have to happen. Like I gave an example. I'm a mother. I might take these medications that I do, they are given while pregnant, but then the child I bear might live recklessly. Yes, I prevented them from getting HIV while pregnant and at birth, but for them, their lives, what happens once they're not?
Can Uganda achieve the end of HIV and AIDS as a public health threat by 2030? The views have been shared definitely on both ends and both sides of the spectrum, but what do you think? Let's close this off with a couple of your views that have come through. And UBC, kindly let women take up the issue of protection seriously. Protection has been left for men to decide whether to protect themselves or sleep live with women. And we can end if all Ugandans follow the SOPs. Thank you, Olupot, for that. And thank you for the show. This is Teacher Igalagwa Edward from Buyende District. For me, I think it will be difficult for it to end because people have that saying, I think, that no one will die, and because
everyone will die.
I think
everyone will die.
Yeah, and they end up having unprotected sex because everyone will die anyways. And this is Kunya Ronald from Palisa. Uganda's achievements of hitting HIV/AIDS by 2030 won't be possible. What I know, there will be an increment or a double of what is in Uganda today, because Ugandans are not affected. They don't believe that AIDS is rare, existing. Heartbreaking.
You know, Julie, he who pays the piper determines the tune. That's why sometimes, Bambi, women have no little to say when it comes to using protection or not.
And men should go for testing. Men do not want to go for testing, to know their status. Please, men out there, go for testing. Test and treat if you find positive.
In the street language, Chiambagwe. But ultimately, what we leave with you, what role are you playing in the prevention of HIV and AIDS, or ending it as a public health threat for Uganda by 2030? Remember, we are all affected by HIV and AIDS, directly or indirectly. So as an individual, what's your role? Learn it, know it, and take action. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, me don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
And thankful Lord, thank you for waking up with us this morning and welcome back. We are on Good Morning Uganda Tourism Express I'm not alone today on set. I'm with a beauty queen. You must be excited to see this one, and we'll be talking about the environment. Former Minister, may her soul rest in peace, Maria Mtagamba, did go by the slogan of tourism is everyone's business. And we'll be talking about how it's your business in the environment perspective to see that tourism gets to thrive. Well, good morning, Rita Angwech.
Good morning, Ms. Zaki.
I'm happy to have you for the second time, I think.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You look so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, so please say hi to the viewers.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, my name is Angwech Rita. I am your Miss Environment Uganda 2025-2026, and it's such a pleasure to be here again. The last time I was here, I came as a first runner-up Miss Tourism Northern Uganda. Yeah.
So many titles. How does it feel like to have all these titles by yourself?
It's not just a feeling, it's a lot of responsibilities on top, because one side I am supposed to come as a tourism ambassador, and then on the other end I'm supposed to come as an environmental activist.
Wow.
Yes.
So tell us, who is Angwech beyond the crown?
Beyond the crown, Angwech is a lovely, passionate girl. I am an aviator by profession, and currently working with Falcon Aviation Academy. Yes.
So tell us, how did you get the title Miss Environment?
Nice. So I got this title by participating in Miss Tourism Uganda last year, where I started with the regional contest, and I emerged as one of the top 3. So being the top 3 from regionals, I had to turn up for the national competition. So from the national competitions, I don't know, somehow interacted with the National Environment Authority, that is NEMA, and so many other fraternities. And on the grand finale, I don't know, at some point I say it is the grace of God. At some point I also tell myself that, yeah, I deserved it because I worked for it, because all this came up because of the passion I had for the environment as well. Yeah.
You did talk about going in for Miss Tourism first, and how has the journey changed your perspective on conservation?
It has changed a lot, because when I was joining, I joined just as a contestant because I just wanted to fulfill my dream of, standing on that stage. But then when I reached there, there was a lot to learn and a lot to unlearn as well. And in the conservation field, I have learned to interact with wildlife. I have learned to keep my surrounding clean. I have learned to be time conscious as well. There is a lot to learn in Miss Tourism Uganda, okay? It is beyond beauty contest. Yes.
That's an interesting journey when you talked about interacting with wildlife. Okay, so in the environment perspective still, Uganda is the Pearl of Africa. What makes Uganda the Pearl?
One of the things, and I think the most important things that makes Uganda the Pearl of Africa, or that made Uganda to be called the Pearl of Africa, is the natural beauty that we have. It's not every part of the world that have what Uganda has today. There are so many big and huge national parks that Uganda is having, so many wildlife varieties, there are so many green pastures in Uganda, and when you go outside Uganda, you find the countries are dry, the countries are not as green as what we have in Uganda today. And it's so unfortunate that most Ugandans actually do not realize this fact. Uganda is very beautiful, so much gifted with natural beauty. And I think the only thing we can do with this natural beauty is conserve it. Yeah.
You've interacted with the environment as well by look of the pictures displayed on the screen. So what are some of the threats that are hindering the environment in Uganda? What are some of the challenges that you think people up there should take up responsibility into solving?
One of the things that Ugandans are really doing bad at is the littering behavior. When you're moving on the street, or you're just traveling in a vehicle, a bus or a taxi, you'll see your next neighbor is eating chapati, eating whatsoever they're eating, and the next thing you know is they will just throw the kavera off the window. Like, that's so inappropriate. So I just want to tell my country people, let us stop littering the country. Yeah, littering is really becoming so much in the country. And also the next thing is, there is so much of wetland. We are so much degrading our wetlands. When you go to wetlands, like where I come from, the northern region, we have so much of wetlands. But when you go inside, you find rice going on, a lot of it. Everybody is taking up spaces in the wetlands. Everybody wants to dig in the wetlands. And in turn, that really affects us as human in the long run. And also another thing I'll talk of is tree cutting. Oh, northern Ugandans,
deforestation.
I am talking to you today. There is so much of, okay, I know we all want to use charcoal for cooking, but there is a better way we can do that. Not every tree you see is supposed to be cut down for charcoal or for firewood. So let's reduce on tree cutting, let's reduce on deforestation. Let us, okay, if you're cutting a tree, make sure you replace it by planting another one. Yes.
So what are some of the alternatives? You say don't cut trees, you want, but people will tell you, okay, what do we do? At the end of the day, we have to eat. What are the alternatives?
There are so many alternatives. You can use, what is that called, biogas? Is it biogas? You can use that, and as well, there is gas nowadays. There is gas cylinders everywhere. So we can invest in that as well. Meanwhile, I see most part of the countries are also having electricity. So we can utilize that electricity for cooking and every other thing. Yeah.
You talked about when on your trips, on the journey, you get to see a lot of people litter. Now that takes us back to schools. Do you think schools are doing a lot of awareness, environment awareness? Because we believe young minds can groom better where we are headed in the future. So do you think schools are doing enough towards environment awareness?
The schools are trying, but believe me, it's not every school that is doing that. But at least a few of them, because last year I visited a school in Ngulu City, and I was so amazed. This is a school that is so much into environmental conservation. They have they have a greenhouse in that school. They have tree planting going on. There is so much of students involved in environmental cleanliness. And I think that is what every other school need to do. Let's make sure we have dustbins at every corner of our school so that the students stop littering anyhow. And also let's encourage, let's have environment clubs in our schools, because it's not every student that is going to be willing or active in the environment field, but you can have a few of them that are so much interested in environment. And I think if they form a club, they will be the best people to impact that school. Yeah.
Having mentioned that, I'm now curious, what are some of the projects that you're running as Miss Environment currently?
As Miss Environment, number one, right now we have what we call Let the Pearl Shine campaign, and I'm sure you've been seeing me on your screens everywhere. I've been talking about it so much. So Let the Pearl Shine is a flagship for environment and tourism advocacy that was initiated by Miss Tourism Uganda in the year of 2015. And we normally do this yearly, normally at the start of the year. Yes. So what we do in this Let the Pearl Shine campaign is just mostly sensitize the nation, sensitize communities about proper disposal, about tree planting, and the whole thing is just about keeping the country clean and also a competitive tourism destination. Yeah.
So what do you think is the most effect onto why the country is dirty? Where's the gap?
The gap is between, I would say the gap is between the fraternities who are in position to sensitize the communities. there is a gap between the fraternity and the communities. The communities will do everything. One thing I've learned is every time I step out there and then I talk to people about something, they always turn up. So I think that we need to just increase on that energy. Let's sensitize more the communities, and at the end of the day, this will be an easy peasy thing for us. Yeah.
So when they turn up, is impact created? Have you revisited the places and found out the places are now cleaner? Probably people have maintained the cleaner space ever since you did visit.
Yes.
Okay, that's amazing. How about on the government's perspective? Have you worked with some of the government officials onto sensitizing this? As per your title, I see the National Environment Management Authority.
Yes, I've been working with NEMA as the ambassador. Yes, and every day what we are mostly focused on is the wetlands. Yeah, if you are farming in the wetland, I must tell you, better be informed, because we as the NEMA team, we are going to reach there very soon, and you don't want to be put behind bars because of farming in the wetlands. Yes.
Now I'm wondering, if you were the overall Miss Environment globally, what story would you tell?
Globally, okay, that was gonna be interesting, because today I am in the country, tomorrow I am in Kenya, and I'm doing the best thing of my life that I've always wanted to do, sensitizing people. Yes, not only just sensitizing people, but also seeing that people are actually doing what you're telling them to do. That is one of my greatest joy. Yeah.
Now, to the people that are watching you, if every Ugandan is watching you right now, what is that one call to action towards Let the Pearl Shine campaign?
Yeah, so what I want to tell everybody outside there, it doesn't matter if you're a kid, you're a teenager, you're in school, you're home, you're in your office right now. I want to inform, I want to sensitize you right now that let us stop littering, okay? Whether you're at home, whether you're on the road traveling, or whether you're at office, anywhere you are, let's stop littering, let's stop throwing our rubbish anyhow. And the most important one, by the way, you find that most people, okay, they do good by gathering this rubbish together. At the end of the day, they will burn it. And we don't know that that affects us a lot. Mostly as humans, it affects us, because when you burn, the gas that is going to come out of that rubbish, it is harmful to human health. It is harmful to the environment around, to the animals, the trees around, so it affects a lot. Let us stop burning rubbish.
Talking about burning, recently I had a trip to Karamoja, and I realized there were a lot of bushfires. I don't know if it's due to that cause, but when you do talk to people, they tell you, yeah, we are collecting, but then we are burning it. I guess they do not have that other side, that perspective of why it's dangerous. Where are they supposed to put it?
No, the best thing we can do with this rubbish is, number one, we can recycle. By the way, most of this rubbish, you find there are plastic bottles, clothes. So why don't you use that cloth to make something else out of it? Why don't you use those plastic bottles? Sell it. There are people who use those plastic bottles. I was telling somebody yesterday, when you go to Entebbe Zoo, you find portraits of animals. And when you see them from far, it really looks like, for example, there is an elephant. When you see that elephant from far, you think it is a real elephant. But when you move closer, it is just a combination, a collection of plastics, those bottle tops that was used to make that portrait. So I think we can reuse this rubbish, we can recycle them, or rather let us collect them together, just filter them and have them placed in one position. Yes.
So to any young woman that looks up to you at the moment, what is it that you have to tell them?
Girl, all I have to tell you is, do not sit on yourself. Don't sit on your goal. Don't sit on that dream, because I was once like you, by the way. I never thought I could make it to this point. I was scared. I was looking down on myself. And all I can tell you is, do not look down on yourself. You are more than capable. But you can only be what you want to be when you step up and tell yourself that I can do it. Yeah, and talking about that as well, Miss Tourism Uganda is having a search going on for the next queen. But remember, we normally start from regional context. Yes, so we have regions that have already started the search. For example, Northern region is ongoing. I think Buganda has started as well, and so many other regions. So the only thing you should do is try and reach out to anybody that you know can assist you, or rather you can go on our website. You're going to find application forms there. Yeah, and for my northern people, feel free to reach out to me. I'll equip you with the application form and you get yourself in.
How do they reach out to you? Well, what are your social media handles?
Check out for Queen Angwech on TikTok. That one you'll find me, I'm always there. Yeah, or you can check my Instagram page, Queen Rita Angwech. And my WhatsApp is personal. If you, yeah, but still, if you can reach out, you can reach out to me.
Okay, reach out to Miss Tourism Uganda itself on all social media platforms so that you can be a part of this beautiful contest. She came in just as a queen through Miss Tourism Uganda, and right now she's a whole Miss Environment Ambassador of NEMA. So make sure you come through and make your dreams valid. The environment message, by the way, take it seriously. It's your responsibility. Starting right from if you're eating, make sure you don't trash poorly. Well, we are still on Good Morning Uganda. Stick around, and coming in is Joanne.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Morning once again. The KCCA has confirmed several spaces around the 17 markets for hawkers, and of course there is a revocation of a minister by a minister. You want to know who the ministers are? Stay tuned to Good Morning Uganda Business. Welcome back from Tourism Express. It is the moment for our financial reporting, and commencing with a countermand, Minister of State for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, General Wilson Mbasumbadi, has has overturned the earlier directive by Internal Affairs Minister General Kahinda Otafire ordering the immediate reinstatement of farmers' way bridges in Masindi district. Let's have a look.
Of sugarcane theft, from the recent complaints of sugarcane theft from the very many farmers in Masindi district, and they have been tracing the theft of their sugarcane to way bridges, and they have persistently filed complaints to both the local authorities and police that the people trading sugarcane at these way bridges, some of them end up stealing our cane and selling it on these points. So that outcry has resulted even some of the sugar trucks being impounded in sugarcane plantations of farmers. So because of all that, police launched an investigation into these complaints, and last week the Minister of Trade, acting on instructions of the Minister of Internal Affairs, who had received a police report to that effect, directed that way bridges be stopped and suspended because of those illegalities. So the State Minister of Trade called a meeting today of the different stakeholders to harmonize their concerns, because there are some who are saying the closure should continue, others, a few of them saying there is need for lifting the closure. So he called us so that there is harmony between the different stakeholders. The minister, the various stakeholders resolved that there is a need for harmony in the industry, and that millers interested can buy the cane directly, the sugar cane directly from farmers in the field and take it to the factories, thus removing the middlemen who were on the way bridges. Number two, we also agreed that the resident district commissioner is going to convene a meeting that will propose possible locations of these roadside way bridges in areas that are agreed upon by the different stakeholders. But we all unanimously observed the challenge of sugarcane theft fueled by the roadside way bridges, and we agreed that there is harmony and streamlining required by the different stakeholders to ensure that the industry runs without necessarily disadvantaging either the farmers or the millers, so that we operate mutually as different stakeholders.
And a lot of discussions came up when the eviction notice for the hawkers and border borders and taxi stages around within the Kampala CBD area. Now, the KCCA officials have answers to these questions, especially about the hawkers, and Kampala's Capital City Authority inspected and confirmed the presence of market spaces in several of its 17 markets that total up to 2,520, and KCCA Communications Officer Daniel Nwabine emphasized their commitment to evict all hawkers from the streets, urging them to take up the spaces as soon as possible. Let's have this confirmation.
Just a day remaining for KCCA to start evicting vendors and hawkers from Kampala streets. In a routine check, KCCA has inspected its markets, including Usafi, Usega and Kamocha, with all the 17 markets having 2,520 free spaces for take-up.
Let's take this opportunity and take up these spaces that are in government markets for free. And for those who want to go to the private markets, we have 69 of them. Their contacts are available.
With the investment that government continues to put in these markets, most have been abandoned by vendors who they believe are roaming on the streets of the city.
Someone has locked a lockup or a shop, or even those pitches that are lockable in a government market, and 90 days have exceeded that locking, we shall freely reallocate that space.
Usafi Market in the city center has a capacity of 3,000, but currently registered vendors are only 1,000. Busega Market, with state-of-the-art spaces, has also been largely abandoned by vendors.
Era ffe twali twaginyiigira dda nti okulaba akatale kano konna akanene akataliimu bantu naye KCCA nebanga eremeza abantu ku makubo ensonga eyo twali twaginyiigira dda.
Tuli basanyufu nnyo kubanga akatale kano tewali muntu asasula okujjako ssente z'amasannyalaze ne security, naye ebifo abantu mwe bakolera si byakupangisa bya bwereere.
But why do vendors flee the markets?
Akatale kano kazimbwa bubi, amakubo gaako agakayingiza bagakweka.
Balongoose ebintu bakomyewo emmotoka eziri ku makubo ne baganda baffe bakoleki babaleeta awatonya bazibewo kati nga wano watonya naawe walaba tewetaaga kulaga bulazi olaba nti enkuba singa ekusanga wano tosaakola ki kuyimirirawo.
Leaders appeal to KCCA to address insecurity and leakages in some of these markets.
Badde nsaba KCCA bwegera kulaakulanya esooka eddaabiriza akatale kuba konna kayiika amazzi egyo n'emidaala givunze lw'amazzi kuyingira mu katale.
A roof leakage is a maintenance issue, and where we have leakages, those are easily repaired because a roof leakage is one day's work or a few hours because it's replacement of an iron sheet. That is a minor issue.
The KCCA market supervisor Moses Musimire emphasized that these market spaces are free of charge across all the 17 markets.
We can provide stores, spaces for the street vendors who are out there. And one thing I want to emphasize is that these spaces here in these government markets are free of charge.
KCCA has threatened to evict vendors from the streets on the 19th of this month. Cayenne Faith, Andrew Sebida for ABC.
Let's now look at how your money is working against the various currencies as of 17th February 2026 by Bank of Uganda, commencing with the US dollar that bought at 3,534.64 and sold at 3,544.64. By midday, the buying rate for the dollar was 3,526.45 and sold at 3,536.45. By close of business, the rate of the dollar was buying at 3,528.59 and sold at 3,538.59, whereas the Great British Pound bought off at 4,777.00 and sold at 4,791.60. The euro bought at 4,172.91 and sold at 4,185.44. From the neighbors, the Kenyan shilling bought at 27.33 and sold at 27.45. The Tanzanian shilling bought at 1.34 and sold at 1.37, while the South African rand bought at 219.46 and sold at 220.14. We shall always bring you the economic updates and deeper insights into the business world. Happy Lent period and Ramadan Mubarak to our Muslim brothers. Good morning. Coming up is the agenda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo,
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient